Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. We have Gabby Windey on Kaitlyn Bristowe's Off the Vine podcast, where she discusses that she's considering converting to Judaism for her girlfriend. It's a very interesting conversation. I definitely think you guys should go check out the full podcast. I don't always say that about every podcast I listen to, but I think it's very interesting that we have Kaitlyn in a crossroads after her relationship with Jason Tartick ends, and then we have Gabby Windey leaving the heterosexual arena for a lesbian relationship. They discuss a lot about what's working and what's not, and a lot of conversation about, proper communication and mental health and things like that. So it starts off, and again, I'm going to walk you guys right through it, but they talk both about leaning into prayer and get into a conversation about religion, which I think is very fascinating coming from the two of them. Let's start off with their conversation about Bachelor Nation bullies, and then how her girlfriend sort of fits into this.
Bachelor Nation is passionate.
Yes. Yeah, they are. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so passionate. But I had such a good night, and then I saw something on Instagram, and then I got a bunch of bullies coming after me, and then I was just like, and then I cried because I was angry, but really I was sad. It was very confusing.
Yeah.
But I just poured myself a glass of wine, and then I cried myself to sleep, and
So, by the way, when Kaitlyn talks about crying herself to sleep, I actually interviewed her, I believe the same day or the day after this happened. So when you watch this coming episode of Driving with Dave on the Dave Neal Show, you're going to hear Kaitlyn and I talk extensively about this weird relationship with haters online.
and
I cried yesterday too.
you did.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Sorry. Robbie and I fought about her cat.
Oh.
I know. I forgot to feed her.
Oh.
So their relationship is now 6 months in. And I'm not one to judge how quickly you go about your relationships or whatever. Things can move fast when they are right. But, it's very funny to hear Gabby start to talk about once the sort of honeymoon era wears off, how you kind of have to get into the, do I really love this person? And it's very clear that they do love each other. But of course, Gabby has to deal with the fact that Robbie Hoffman is a stand-up comedian, travels a lot, and will probably put her career first, because that's what you do when you're in a sort of hyper competitive situation like that. And I'm sure Gabby does the same. Let's jump over to the 10.5-minute mark and hear the thoughts on Halloween. But yeah, the conversation coming up will get very interesting, where Kaitlyn talks about missing Jason, whether or not they want to have kids. Stick around for that.
Like on the Halloween, which is a Tuesday, so I feel like it's low stakes.
That's true. Like, who has fun on a Tuesday? So the bar is in hell.
Yes. Yeah. I want to keep it really low.
Yeah.
So like everybody, it's like, exceeding expectations.
Yeah.
But like Robbie was talking about things she wanted to be without me.
And
so I
you're
was
like,
okay, that's fine. Like initially,
you're like, are we
way
breaking
back.
up?
Yeah, literally. I'm like, okay. And I love to like dress up for Halloween and like make costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
So she was out of town, so I have an idea for me and my dog. I can't say.
Okay.
So there it is. Hey, look, when you're in a new relationship, Robbie, the first thing you have to learn is Halloween costumes become a joint activity, period. End of conversation. It is not, when you're single, your costume is supposed to show people that you can get laid. I'm a sexy, Jane Doe, or whatever the hell you want to be. You know what I mean? I'm a sexy mom. But when you're in a relationship, your Halloween costume is just to show off how the strength of your relationship based on how good your, Bo Peep sheep costume could be, or whatever the hell you decide to do. These are just examples, folks. All right, let's jump to some depth here. And they talk about leaning into religion, which we love a conversation around religion. Let's have a listen.
She really actually shifted a big thing in my brain of what prayer means to me. And so I was always kind of like, I don't know about God. Like, I don't know if I see a Jesus. Like, I don't know. But I always believed in like a higher power. And like, I think religion is really beautiful and all the different ones. And I just think like my religion to me was like, I believe in a higher power. Yeah. I don't know what that means, but I started really leaning into prayer lately.
Oh, cool.
And like
every night? Or
and morning.
You're like every second, please,
I'm like,
please, God.
For the love of God, please let this podcast do well.
Yeah, literally.
I'll just super like
get
selfish.
1 million views.
I could really use a solid here. I'm going through a tough time. But I literally, morning and night,
Yeah.
But I use it as gratitude, and it's a prayer, and I'm like, it doesn't mean I need to be like, dear Holy Spirit, but like religion is so beautiful, and I love that you're leaning into Judaism and like learning about it. I think that's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I know I have like a couple things just right off the top of my head talking about religion. We just watched the Centenarian documentary on Netflix.
Okay.
So people who live like 100 or close to it, this guy goes to blue zones.
Okay.
And so she discusses the fact that in one of the blue zones where people live over 100, it's because they have a strong faith. And we can kind of go over the sort of semantics of religion versus spirituality versus faith. And I think regardless of what box you fit into or what you were exposed to, or evangelical versus Catholic, there's always a good side of it. There's always a good side of religion. I always just talk about the people that exploit religion. It's the people that are really exploiting good-natured people, right? But yeah, I mean, as far as prayer goes for gratitude, being grateful for what you have is the simple law of attraction. Like begets like. When you are grateful for something you have, the universe will then expand that. If you feel like you want to call the universe God or Allah, Buddha, Krishna, do whatever the hell you want. Now, people will respond, no, Dave, Jesus is the only Messiah. He's the one. Every other religion's false. And I guess, to me, that's just like that type of thinking does not matter. That is not productive thinking. I think religion is only productive when you use it to be a better version of yourself. And the more we all can work on ourselves, the more we can be a better society. Unfortunately, people will use religion to tell others why they are right and, this and that. Well, it becomes a religion measuring contest, which I don't think gets us anywhere. So very interesting that Gabby is talking about Judaism because, of course, her girlfriend of 6 months grew up Hasidic Jewish, which Gabby calls cultish. I'm not going to call it that, but I'm sure there are plenty of ex-Hasidic Jews that would also call it that, at least in the sense that it's not. I don't know. Well, I don't want to lose my whole Hasidic Jewish population right now. I can't afford to lose another Hasidic Jewish friend.
And doing Shabbat on Fridays, and it's just like it's an excuse to like have a community.
Totally.
It's like she has a lot of Jewish friends naturally just from like having Shabbat, and it's an immediate connector.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm Jewish. Oh, you're Jewish, and they have something to talk about. They could be strangers, so it bonds you right away, and then you just have an excuse to get with people on a Friday.
Yeah.
And like there's tradition involved, but really it's just about like being with other people.
And I bet that's stronger than ever right now, like coming together, and that's so important.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like a way like to get me out of the house. I'm like, I'm not leaving. But like this is like a little bit, there's more, I don't know, I guess like a push to do it because it means something.
There's a lot of truth to what she's saying in the sense that while she, from the outside looking in, the community is relatively small. I mean, it's a major religion, but it's also still like, depending on where you live, you might not have a Jewish community if you're in a certain suburb or, I know growing up, I didn't have any Jewish friends from Rhode Island. It was all Italians and Irish and Portuguese as far as the people I knew. But then when you move to New York City, you start to meet a whole different ideology, people that support a different ideology. And that's great. That is a fantastic way to expand your knowledge of what is out there and not realize, I was raised Christian, this is the only way. No, there's plenty of Jewish people and plenty of other religions out there that share common goals.
Yeah, I like that. And I like a little bit, like, when somebody has structure to their life, like, a constant, like, I love anything that's consistent in a person. Mm-hmm. And so religion to somebody, like, and getting yourself involved, it just shows respect, first of all, for the relationship, but also something for you two to, like, really grow together with because you get to learn, and there's so much to learn about a religion.
Oh my gosh, I love learning from her. Yeah. She's so smart. Yeah. She's obviously just, like, in it. She's been Jewish her whole life.
Right.
And Jewish people really believe in it,
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess like everybody really believes in their religion.
Well, I don't know. I question mine all the time. I actually don't know.
I'm like, I've just never been strong in a religion. So it's really, it's just really honestly cool to see, and it's really fun. We like loosely, I always like talk about maybe converting, which like I'm kind of down with. It's hard. It's like time consuming and kind of hard, but I'd be down.
Yeah.
Wow, she says she would be down to convert. Time consuming and hard. Yeah, I mean, look, that's a serious thing if your relationship is to the point where you would convert religions for the other person. But yeah, good for them. All right, so as the conversation moves along, Kaitlyn then talks about missing Jason and missing her friend that she had there, which is very interesting because a few weeks ago, I don't think either one of them could have this conversation without tearing up. But, now they're looking at it, their relationship's like dead as a doornail. Now they can look at it and go, yeah, I miss him.
I think that's what I miss the most from my last relationship is I'm like, oh, I miss having like a friend.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Because you're just not constantly thinking about yourself the whole day.
Yeah.
You like get to focus on somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. Like wanting a relationship is totally fine and normal and a part of the human experience.
It is part of the human experience. We all want it.
Yeah.
We literally all crave it and want it. I like alone time for sure. And I'm trying to like really lean into like, I'm single, but I want to find someone.
Right.
Very fair, Kaitlyn. Very fair. And so often when you're single, you're supposed to single and loving it. And it's like, fine. Yeah, absolutely. Love yourself by all means. You have to love yourself first. You are the main course. The relationship is only the dessert. But at the same time, if don't be afraid to say what you want in life. The funny thing that Kaitlyn says, and I think we can all agree on, is that the quicker you get to loving yourself is the quicker someone else will then love, as we speak of law of attraction, you, because you'll have the highest frequency of love for yourself. And who wouldn't will love that? I mean, no one wants to, no one's going to fall for someone who's just moping around. No mopes around here, folks.
Not. Yeah. But did you talk openly about not wanting kids?
Yeah.
Do you get backlash for that?
Maybe. I
want
know.
your following.
Yeah.
They seem so like accepting.
Yeah.
I have like a very good, solid accepting. Like I love them, and I feel like they're the listeners of the podcast.
Yeah.
But so many people, like I go back and forth on wanting kids so bad. I'm 38. I have my eggs frozen, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I want to bring kids into the world, and I know everyone can have their opinions on that. But also, like I crave being a mom. I feel like I was put on this planet to be a mom.
Yeah.
But it terrifies me to have kids. So what made you sure in your...
All right, so there it is. So, Gabby's like, I never really wanted to be a mom. And Kaitlyn's saying, I've always wanted to be a mom, but, 38 and single, it's like she's in a career path that's like very challenging, and being a mom it shifts things, right? She won't be able to do all the same things she's doing now, but maybe she'll be doing more enriching things. Like maybe she'll be sort of taking a left turn the way Becca Kufrin did, and he's talking more about like the journeys of motherhood. Either way, an audience is going to follow Kaitlyn no matter what she does, because she's fantastic at sharing her story through the different lenses that she provides us, both podcast and YouTube and on Instagram. So looking forward to whatever it is that comes her way. If Claire Crowley is any indication, you can be any age and continue to take care of yourself, and you never know who or what is right around the corner. All right, folks. Well, have a fantastic Halloween. Be safe out there. Don't eat any candy that's already been opened. You know what I mean? And save me some Butterfingers, please. I'll have a little extra Halloween content for you on today's Bachelor Rush Hour podcast. So stick around for that. That's right after this.